Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Scalable AI in Action. And today we're going to host Affine.ai. This company is, pretty much expert in Cosmos DB and AI. They have pretty good experience, and we'll learn more about the offering and how they are able to achieve uh, scalable application and able to satisfy the customers' high demanding needs with their solution. And uh, just to give you a little idea what you can get in this show is we're going to have the leadership of Affine.ai who will be coming here and helping us understand some aspects of the industry and what they think about Cosmos DB. And then we're going to understand more about their solution, both from a perspective of high level as well as we go deeper inside um, and we understand more. After that, we are going to switch the gears. I'll help you understand Cosmos DB. And today's that capsule is specifically talking about search functionality of Azure Cosmos DB. And last not the least, we'll focus on question and answers. If you are on the live session, please submit your questions. We'll be happy to take up those questions and provide you real answers. So without further delay, I would like to welcome Dr. Param, who is industry expert and is a director of solution. I think, sorry, he's a vice president of and global head of AI and Gen AI practice at Affine.ai. He's leading scalable AI application center of excellence. So I don't think we have anyone else coming closer to Dr. Param who is more eligible than him. So and he did PhD in mathematics from IIT Madras, and he has a good technical expertise. And the best part is we can definitely learn more from him because he has expertise in delivering impactful solutions across the industry like education, finance, manufacturing, and retail. So you pretty much cover everything, I think, which include automotive as well. And you're a author and contributor to AI community, and you yourself is a researcher. So welcome on board, Param.
Thank you, Manish.
Um, and I also have Miss Rana, who is Director of Solution Architecture at Affine. I think he's having very good expertise, almost 25 years in architecture and service delivery. So he basically is a person who can deliver. so so we have Param who can actually give us a lot of knowledge from the research standpoint, able to provide us industry perspective, and also we have Rana. We have the best combination, and he's quite passionate about driving AI solutions, and we definitely be able to gain from this conversation. Welcome, Rana. Welcome on board.
Thank you for having me on this fantastic live session, Manish. Special thanks to you for the warm invitation and for brilliantly hosting this Scalable AI session. I've been seeing that you're bringing organizations together to share their remarkable experiences. That's I've been noticing, and truly phenomenal work that you've been doing. And my personal congratulations on creating such an inspirational platform by you, Manish. I'm literally thrilled to be here, eager to engage in this conversation. And also, I'm excited to share ideas. It's truly a pleasure to join you, Manish.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. So I think without delay, let's move to our first capsule, which is fireside chat. And I would love to ask you the questions uh, which will help us go deep. So first of all, I wanted to ask question from Dr. Param. Um, on specifically in terms of your vision for AI-driven products. So, how's your organization shaping product strategy around AI to meet evolving customer expectation?
Yeah, Manish. I think thanks for first of all hosting me here, and I think this overall I would say is very exciting questions, considering that a lot of people have been talking about the AI and recently the Gen AI, right? So, and most of the companies basically have been defining their visions, right? Specifically the Gen AI vision, right? So that is where we are also on the journey, and we have also defined our AI roadmap basis the client expectations. So we met clients across industries, right? We are being into the service industry, and we met clients across industries, and normally they have common challenges. Some of the common challenges with their digital AI journey, right? So some of the common challenges basically the incomplete insights. Usually that they come across that information or data is spread across the multiple databases, multiple sources, and hence generating the actionable insights is slow and incomplete. So that basically lacks the real time monitoring and hampering the decision making, right? That is one of the challenge that they usually face and most of the customer face. The another challenge that they normally talk about is the context aware response, right? So so even if they build some traditional methods, right? So most of the chatbots, existing chatbots, are either rule based, right, or they lack the context. So and in some scenarios they lack the domain as well as the role specific knowledge. For example, if you ask that if you ingest a company specific data, right, and if you specifically want to ask that how many leaves I am allowed to take in a year, right? So first system has to understand whether you are a consultant, whether you are a full-time employee, whether you are a part-time employee, right? So your designation matters. So this answers the number of leaves. It's not just for, it's same for everybody, right? It might vary from persona to persona, from your designation to designation, right? So that's how basically it has to get the real-time context and give you that answer. So another challenge usually is basically around the scalability and reliability, right? And we have seen the exorbitant or exponential data acquisition in the recent past, and the legacy system, they can't handle that volume of data, and hence performance issues usually comes when the scalability or when the number of users, right, when the data volume is high or the number of users are more. So scalability issues, reliability issues usually come. So that is another and last not challenge. So not at last, but these are the common challenges. There are other challenges also that varies from customer to customer, but another common challenge is basically around the security and data governance, right? They usually face concerns about the sensitive data exposure, right, off the shelf, and they wanted to have some solutions, and off the shelf solutions may or may not give you the responsible AI practices, right? So that is where maybe the data governance practices needs to be established. So usually these are the challenges that we come across, and basis those challenges we normally define our product strategy, right? So so we make sure that the solution that we are implementing, those solutions are context aware, right, and we make sure that the product that we normally design, we also keep in mind the context awareness of the solution, right? And that is where we use the AI agents as well, along with the other technologies, and to provide the more business aware answer, business or context aware answer, right? And we also try to leverage the proxy SME sort of agents, which ensure the best quality of relevant and responsible and ethical response, right? It's not just the relevant, but we also make sure that answers are relevant, responsible and ethical. Then the solution that the second point, right, our strategy normally involves around the security, that is also one of their concerns. So and uh, and that is where basically that we wanted to make sure that we are always building and running those systems in the client's secure environment, right, and which ensures the Azure, and which ensures basically the data privacy, data governance, and the customer compliance, specific customer compliance policies, right? So we also make sure that client's system is enabled across or the multiple data sources. The real time alert and I mean the monitoring is another vision that we normally look into, and we try to and I mean try to enable in our road journey. And more at last is basically the responsible and ethical AI. So generating the relevant answer along with the responsible and ethic AI principles, which makes it more appropriate for the users, and we make sure that the results that we are generating or the product that we are enabling for the customer is giving you that is basically following and giving you the answers along with the transparency, fairness, and explainability features, right? So that feature basically allows the user to 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 validate that how and on what basis these answers got generated, right? So that validation really helps them to understand the thought process in case if somebody wants to, right? And that really helps for the auditing. So I think these are some these, and this normally we call it as the CSRR framework. So C basically is the context aware, S is the security, R is the real time, and another R is basically for the responsible, and that is we call it as the CSRR framework. So we normally follow this CSR framework for our product design strategy, right? So that's what normally we do. Yeah.
Awesome. Very nice. Thank you so much. I think this is really nice explanation. And certainly, great conversation. Awesome. So I think we are basically getting this from various, customer that, people are looking at AI for their conversations, and they wanted to basically get the high performant responses as early as possible. So
Yeah.
Cosmos DB is the only de facto standard which can help making your application real time. In fact, one of the things which is we got from industry standard, if the application is responding within less than 250 millisecond, only then it is responsive. And with the SLA commitment from read perspective of Cosmos DB, we are going to give you like 10 millisecond of less than 10 millisecond of performance guarantee. And that's for read operations. And of course, query is also in those lines. Awesome. So what is the Cosmos DB role in powering the AI capabilities of your solution, especially around features like vector search or real-time scoring?
Sure. So first of all, I think let me just give you a bit explanation about the Cosmos DB, that what Cosmos DB is, right? So Cosmos DB, I will not get into the much of the details, but at a very high level, Cosmos, or right, the Azure Cosmos DB is Microsoft's fully managed, globally distributed NoSQL multimodal database, right? Which allows you to store embeddings or variety of data, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be it could be images, or it could be maybe your textual data, right? Embeddings from your textual data. It can be some sort of the NoSQL structure data, vector data, and maybe I think Manish, I think I was discussing with you earlier, and maybe soon we are maybe enable the other forms of data, maybe the graph data as well, right? So, but those things that is where the multi-model capabilities are inbuilt, which are native in nature, and hence that we have I mean and that we have seen that it helps our to build the intelligent applications, right? So normally this AI implications that we build, they require the sophisticated sophisticated millisecond sort of latency, and that is where Cosmos DB is really helpful. And it also supports the native capabilities to plug in maybe the multiple variety of NoSQL databases like Mongo or Postgres, Cassandra, and so on, right? So that is the unique feature of this. So and when it comes to the benefit of using this and why we chose the Cosmos DB, right? So that is where there are certain there are certain I would say the reasons that why we have chosen the Cosmos DB. So obviously the context retrieval, right? So as we saw that this is one of the challenge, and we wanted to solve this challenge. And here also we are following the CSRR framework, right? So context aware is one of the reason that we wanted to make sure. So Cosmos DB basically stores documents, chunks, embeddings, right? And which allows us to retrieve those embeddings basis the multi-indexing methodologies, right? It support the multi-indexing methodologies, maybe and that is something which is easy to configure. Maybe DiskNN, HNSW, or flat or quantized flat, right? These are the different indexing methodologies you can easily configure. So configurability is something which is unique and allows you to to basically validate with the various indexing methodologies. And we have seen that in different indexing methodologies help you to get to your SLA of of milliseconds. That is where I think the Cosmos DB is playing critical role. It also helps you to store the metadata basically that helps you to create some sort of the grouping and helps you to increase or accurately retrieve the informations, right? And another core important feature is the semantic caching. That what we have seen, the semantic caching is a core native features within the Cosmos, and which allows the customers basically to control cost and latency. And latency is very critical for your customer driven application, right? So the semantic caching is another core feature which is very native in Cosmos. uh, and as I mentioned, definitely it supports the multiple indexing methodologies. And the second is basically more on the agent state, that how we are managing the conversation or the agent, and that is basically very very crucial to store that information, right? So when we are building those applications, so storing the historical session, historical human feedback, because human feedback is something that which bot will take to train itself, right, to learn and basically use that learning for the future responses, right? So to persist your session data, to persist the human feedback, right, and maybe the sort of the reasoning, and to have the sort of thought process that how that answer got generated. So all this information can be easily stored in Cosmos, and along with that responsible AI framework, right? So it helps you to store your outcomes, and not only the outcomes, maybe all for the traceability, for the auditing purpose. It can allows you to store all the logs, right, which you can easily monitor. So I think these are the couple of benefits that which helped us to pick the Cosmos DB over other DBs, right? So I think that's in a nutshell. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I have one question I want to ask Rana here that is very specific to the scale. Mr. Rana, how do you address the scalability challenges you face during the deployment of AI application, and what specifically Cosmos DB helped you with in addressing those challenges?
Is my audio? Yeah, am I audible? Yeah. Okay, that's a very good question, Manish. Like, usually, like that scaling AI at production levels, right, is not a small feat. And let me share some of the challenges that we faced and how Azure Cosmos DB helped us to tackle some of them. Like, and there are a few things that key points that I would like to just highlight here. One is about the unpredictable query volumes is the one that we have been facing. I mean, especially across the industry. And the second one is about the high dimensional vector data is there. And the third one is all about like a global low latency responses. So it's across the globe. So these three are the key points that are just coming into my mind, especially when we are dealing with the scalability part. Like first, we deal with the unpredictable query volumes, Manish. Like so, when deploying AI solutions, what happens is we often see sudden spikes across, right? So sudden spikes across the traffic, and especially during the peak usage times, right? So especially like if I have to give examples, like during the product launch times or some kind of like a viral campaigns and all. So these are the various fluctuations that can overwhelm the traditional databases, right? So that's where I am seeing that, especially from the Affine side, like we see the Cosmos DB, it's a serverless and elastic scalability is also there. So that is a game changer, is what we have been seeing here. Because it is automatically adjusting the throughput to match the demands, right? Whatever demand we are receiving, and then it is matching that. So whether we had to tackle these particular queries or a flood of complete queries, the system is stayed responsive without us having manually tweaking anything. That's something that the first point. And next, we have to manage the second part. I mentioned that the high demand, right? Especially the dimensional vector data. If you look at the AI features, Manish, like semantic search, as Dr. Param was also talking about, like, so we rely on processing these billions of vectors. It's not just a small amount of vectors that which are complex and they're very data intensive, right? So at this point of time, like Cosmos DB, it's featured like the DiskNN, that is DiskNN based vector indexing is made, especially this is particularly manageable.
Okay.
How it is manageable is it allowed us to efficiently store the query massive data sets, right? That's what we had seen. That's the second point. And I'll just conclude this with the finally, like we are ensuring the low latency responses is something, right? Globally, which was very critical. And then using this Cosmos this one, then we were able to manage all these things. So result is like we scale seamlessly, like we are maintaining the speed and reliability, and no matter the load or the location, thanks to the Cosmos DB's robust architecture, Manish. That's something that we were able to manage this.
Awesome. So that I think that concludes our leadership fireside chat, and I would love to understand more about your application. So our next this capsule is specifically for to understand what is cost, what is your application and how it works. So yeah, definitely we wanted to okay. 1 second. 1 second.
So today I am presenting you Arel, which is secure RAG bot for enterprise and Affine's homegrown product. Arel is also available on Azure Marketplace. So Arel is secure, enterprise-ready retrieval augmented generation bot that unlocks knowledge from the large volume of documents, and the documents could be of variety of types, variety of formats, right from your PDF, JSON, doc, audio, video, or it could be any other formats as well. So instead of manually searching across files, across documents, so Arel is smart enough and it indexes it indexes the documents and helps you to generate responses and the summaries in the natural language. At the core of this product, Arel, is the Cosmos DB, which acts as a knowledge backbone. So it stores embeddings, query metadata, indices, human feedback, and every sort of data, maybe the user transactions, every sort of data, and it also provides the foundation for fast and context-aware retrieval. With built-in vector search, Cosmos DB enables Arel to instantly find most relevant information and use that information to synthesize that answer. So with that, Arel is a enterprise grade security compliance, and Cosmos DB ensures that Arel is both powerful and trustworthy. So that's a brief about Arel. So Rana, why don't you take us through the architecture?
Sure, Dr. Param, thank you. This is the Rails architecture. Definitely, this brings together the document ingestion, and also it looks into the AI-powered reasoning as well as secure knowledge retrieval. So let me walk you through the flow. It has got different modules are there, different components are there. One is like a pre-processing module that processes the documents which are ingested, and also it does the metadata and embeddings are created using the Azure OpenAI models. If you look at this, we are storing these embeddings along with the file metadata into Cosmos DB, and that is acting as the Rails document base instantly searchable. The next component, if you look at the storage layer, while blob storage, Azure blob storage is being used to hold the raw files. I want to highlight here the Cosmos DB is the intelligent data layer, acting as an intelligent data layer that is being used to store the embeddings, indices. It does query the metadata and evaluation logs. So this is allowing Arel to separate heavy storage from intelligent retrieval, giving better performance. Here we are using Cosmos DB to host the semantic cache, which the feature of semantic caching is used, storing this previous queries and their vectorized meanings. So what this means is like if a user asks a repeat or a related question, the system doesn't have to recompute. Instead, it instantly serves from Cosmos DB. So the result would be faster response and reduced compute costs and a better user experiences. Also, we have this inferencing layer where the particular model, uh, when a particular query is asked, like GPT starts processing the reasoning and the retrieval happening through the Cosmos DB's built-in vector search. So here the Cosmos DB quickly finds the most semantically relevant passage and feeds them into this particular model. And this is a kind of like a hybrid of AI and the database search, making sure that the accuracy and context relevance is already taken care. Last but not the least is about the evaluation and the governance, where we have leveraged Cosmos DB that supports logging and the compliances. So with Azure role-based access and responsible AI integration, we are making sure that the user level access that is controlled and then enterprise grade governance is taken care. So every query and every response and feedback loop is stored traceably. That's pretty much about this particular architecture.
Awesome. Uh, I just wanted to check from you why you have selected Cosmos TV. What was the motivation?
That's a wonderful question, Manish. Like the Cosmos DB, the reason is like it provides native vector search that supports Manish, and also it has. I mean, we can leverage the low latency, global distribution, and multimodal. So for Aril, this means we can store embeddings, as I mentioned, like metadata and query logs natively. That's one of the reasons that we have used Cosmos DB. Apart from that, the other reasons are like the performance, where native vector search is the one where we can scale it up using multi-region active and active-active architecture. And also the Cosmos DB is cost effective, especially for the reason of cost efficiency. We have used this, especially Cosmos DB for auto scaling by implementing the PTUs, as well as I just explained about the semantic caching. And there's other reason is like we have the flexibility of this Cosmos DB that supports multiple data models for these embeddings, logs, and metadata. Uh, that's one thing. And finally, the role-based access is also pretty simple. And data encryption, as well as the built-in audit trails makes it the Cosmos DB enterprise ready, Manish. And last but not least, I just want to say that it's the Cosmos DB as the backbone. The product Aril is not just storing the documents, and we are transforming them into a searchable contextual knowledge graph, right? So that's one of the major reason that we leveraged on the Cosmos DB, which is acting as the backbone for this entire product.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Please continue.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Rana. So now let's talk about some of the key features of Aril. So Aril supports multiple features, but there are few features which definitely offers the enterprise grade flexibility, and each of these features are powered by the Cosmos DB. So at the core of this product is obviously the document indexing. So embeddings are being stored in the Cosmos DB, and the reason, as Rana was explaining, that we have chosen Cosmos DB for the scalable and accurate retrieval. So another feature is basically the natural language understanding. The Cosmos DB vector search ensures that the answers that are being retrieved, or the chunks which are being retrieved, are accurate and are and have the well context with respect to your responses, with respect to the user questions, right? So the document summary, it also has the capability to generate the summaries and the relevant data is being extracted again from the Cosmos DB. Then integrated Q&A bot, this RL can be integrated with the multiple channels. It can be integrated with the Microsoft Teams and any other channels as well. but all the information is coming from the indexed knowledge, which is being stored in the Cosmos DB. The another core feature of this product is the auto evaluation and the semantic cache. And Rana was also explaining in his architecture, the auto evaluation and the semantic cache are another agentic approaches, the agents that we have introduced just to make sure that responses that are being generated are are following the specific guidelines, right? They are accurate, they are following the specific business defined guardrails, business defined logics. They're also looking into the some sort of the helpfulness, groundedness, the some of the defined KPIs. So the evaluation agent will make sure that responses are retrieved from your documents, right? So the information is grounded from your document. And the semantic cache, this is also supported through the Cosmos DB. So the questions, in case if somebody has asked these questions, and if maybe in future if somebody asks the same questions, the system will make sure that the responses that we are retrieving from the Cosmos DB, and that is where the Cosmos is DB, I mean, playing a very critical role here as well. And this semantic cache, it helps the user to cut down on the cost as well as the latency, which basically improves the user experience. So I think these are some of the key features. There are many more, but I think these are some of the key features. But with those features, now let me quickly take you to to the to the demo of this tool. I think that will give you much more clarity that how this tool works. So okay. Okay. So 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 once user logs into the system, this is how the landing page looks out to be, right? This is how it looks like. So here you can see the multiple options on the top. Here we have some options on the right as well. And specifically this developer setting is available for admin. It is not meant for everybody. So here, but you can see that we have integrated, we have given the two options to integrate your knowledge base. It can be SharePoint, it can be the data source RL. And here in the data source RL, we have integrated this with the Cosmos DB, right? So we are also allowing the user to, or the admin to specifically write some of the guidelines, some of the general the questions that he wanted to ask, some of the very generic prompt, in case if you want to up tune, or if you wanted to fine tune the predefined template, that is something he can do. Here also we are also giving the option to basically configure the number of chunks that needs to be retrieved for every response. And here we have defined some metadata, some categories. And this button will help you to include or exclude some of the documents. If you wanted to exclude maybe some categories from responses, that is where this will help you. And along with that, we are also allowing the admin to configure the retrieval method. Right now we are supporting three methods: vector plus text, vectors, and text. But this also can be configured, and this also can be enabled basis any custom requirements, right? The another so now once you onboard this, then basically you will see the balance which is available to you, right? And you can also see a summary of your balances, that on what time you have asked a question and how much token it had consumed. So it will give you the summary at every level, so you can use that basically to understand your consumption. It also allows the user to configure the different users, different teams, different persona, how they want to how you want to configure basically that. For example, you want to access to the certain user and the role that, right? So admin basically would have most of the roles, but whereas the general user will have the limited roles. So admin can configure, and he can allow his team members, and he can allow the number of tokens, number of queries that he can ask. All these configurations can be done right in this panel, right? then the core part of this is the upload functionality. The upload functionality, basically that user or admin wants to upload new documents, and in case if he wants to upload a new document for indexing, so admin can simply click on this button. Here it will allows the system to upload your documents, and you can define your categories. We have defined certain categories, and you can pick one of those categories. That, for example, if your the document that you are uploading, if the document belongs to finance, you can pick finance as one of the category, right? Or or if it is maybe your policy, contract policies or something like that, you can define those metadata. So that metadata will be stored along with this indexes, and that will help to expedite or to speed up the retrieval process, right? So so that is what maybe we have already uploaded many documents, and here what you can see the status of these documents, right? So document size is varying from the small documents to the large document, and here we have quite a few documents, we roughly about more than 50 documents, right? So that will give you a glimpse of that how we have done. And here if you see the categories are also varying from the different departments, right? So so now anyway that we have some documents, and the documents we have some metadata that uploaded on size of the document, category, and so on. And here we can see the status. If you want to delete, you can click on this button and it will help you to delete this, all this indexes, document, everything will just go away, right? But now considering that we have this document index, now this bot is ready for consumption, right? So user can start asking questions. So here user can ask any questions. So for example, here we have the different policy documents we have. For example, here if you see that we have the appraisal policy, we have, let's say, that's immigration policies, and all these policy documents what you are seeing are basically from within Affine. So we have uploaded our own policy document, leave I mean policy document. So now if, let's say, if as an employee you wanted to ask very specific questions, that what is Affine immigration policy, right? So so if you ask these questions, what it does in the backend, first, as Rana was explaining, that architecture, it will follow obviously that same architecture. It will it will go to the Cosmos DB, will pull the relevant chunks using the semantic search, and then will pass those chunks to the OpenAI to generate their final responses. And the responses will not come on the UI as it is, but that responses will go through the responsible AI as well as the auto evaluation agents, right? So and then once everything is passed, then it will come on this UI. So here what you can see the responses, it has given you the very detailed response, right? So right from the general visa guidelines to H1B visa guidelines, right? And all this liquidated damage and visa cost, what is the withdrawal process, right? So it will give you all the detailed response. And here what you can see is the icon. This icon denotes that this is freshly, or I mean the response generated through OpenAI, right? So so that is the beauty of this. So here it gives you the indication that the answer is generated through AI, right? This is not coming from the question bank or the semantic cache. It will also give you the option to look into the to the document, just to make sure that your answers are grounded, your answers are coming from your documents, it's not coming from the web or outside the world. It also gives you the option to thumbs up or thumbs down to give you the feedback. If you really like that answer, you can give thumbs up. The moment you give thumbs up, then all this information, the question and answer, will be stored in the Cosmos DB. And that if somebody asks the same question again, that instead of going to the DB, instead of going to the OpenAI, it can pull that response directly from the DB. That's where the semantic cache is coming in, and that is what we had implemented, I think, long back. So so now that was, and along another thing, it also shows you the thought process, right? Thought process and the supporting documents, the supporting or the big chunks that went into the OpenAI to the LLM to generate that final answer. And it also gives you that how the thought process was, right? So how we use agents, and along with this agents, how the agents has given that feedback, and how LLM has reacted on that feedback to generate basically that final response. So that the detail, I mean, it also gives you the very detailed, thorough explanation. In case if somebody wants to get deep into this, it can go and understand more that what was the thought process internally. Maybe I will quickly jump into the one more question, and then maybe we can move to the next section. So when a person is eligible for immigration, okay, so so obviously it will again go to the Cosmos DB, will pull the relevant chunks, and then and use the OpenAI basically to synthesize that answer. And here, what you can see that here it gives you that, I mean, the person has to be in the company within, I mean, since last 1 year, and his minimum role should be this, right? So that's what the requirement is. And and this is in terms of the rating that exceed expectation in the last 1 or 2 appraisal cycle, right? So now here what you are saying is basically now the response is coming from OpenAI again. But let's quickly show that if, for example, if you give thumbs up, so that system will take that as a feedback and will store this information in the backend, right? So now if somebody asks this information again, if somebody asks this information again, then instead of going to the OpenAI, it will directly go to the Cosmos and will pull the relevant information, right? So so here what you see now, the option is changed. Now the icon, the logo is changed. It's no more going to the OpenAI, rather it is just going back to your Cosmos DB to retrieve that answer, right? And that is where it helps you to improve your latency, control your cost, and obviously the latency control, or controlling the latency obviously increase the best user experience. So that's the beauty of this. So I think that's what, in nutshell, that was the overall product. So maybe now quickly we can the move to the code
Yeah,
section. But if there is
uh,
any,
yeah, I think one question I have to ask. So
yes, Manish.
basically, what happens when new documents get added to the array?
Perfect. So so that is where I think that is where the architecture piece comes in, as Rana was talking about, right? The architecture. So we have created a event driven architecture here. So the moment someone or the admin uploads a document, so immediately once you enter all the metadata and just click on the submit button, it follows that event. It will trigger an event in the backend and will start that process in the backend. And when I say the process, it starts with the process of creating chunking. Chunkings are followed by your embedding creation, embedding storage, and indexing. So the moment the moment someone uploads and submit this, it follows that event-driven architecture and process your document and store embedding everything in the backend, and it takes a couple of seconds and ready to be used. So I think that's the process we are following right now. I hope
Awesome. Yeah, it definitely answered my question. And one important aspect of this is basically that we're utilizing the semantic cache and able to perform all the processing uh, within the periphery of the application. I think it's really wonderful. Thanks. I think let's look at the code walkthrough, and I think Rana is going to present this. Rana ji, please,
Yeah.
Rana, over to you.
Yeah.
Uh, I think, yeah, go ahead.
Right. So thank you, Manish. Again, like I don't want to take much time. Just it's a simple this one. For this session, I have extracted a few critical components from the code base, from a huge code base to illustrate the power and efficiency of our indexing and searching mechanisms. That's what I was trying to just explain. Like if you look at this indexing pipeline, the one which I'm just presenting here, this guy loads the PDFs. If you notice these things, like we have created a few methods. One is to load the PDFs and chunk them into smaller passages and generate the embeddings using Azure OpenAI, and then insert those embeddings into the embeddings into the Cosmos DB. So here the Cosmos DB is configured with the vector embedding policy and indexing policy, so that all the document chunks that are stored within the embeddings and metadata and a vector index for similarity search is also part of this. Essentially, what we're trying to say here through this code is like perhaps our knowledge base for retrieval is completely managed through the indexing. The other one is about the searching part was there. We have something called the search one. Through the searching mechanism, what we are trying to do here is like a user query is converted into embeddings using the Azure OpenAI, then Cosmos DB is vector search. It will go and then retrieve the most semantically similar chunks. That's what it is going to do after generating these embeddings. And then we log these retrieval latencies and display the most relevant text passages So this is a kind of like demonstrates how Cosmos DB enables real-time, low latency retrievals for the large document sets. So that's pretty simple. As I mentioned, like just extracted only the critical component from the huge code base. Manish, any questions here, Manish? And, document ingestion and all. So we can, I mean, just in short, like you can integrate this with Teams or any of your client data sources, Manish, because Cosmos DB's flexible APIs are there that allows integration with multiple existing applications and data formats, Manish, making this particular product deployment seamless in diverse enterprise ecosystems.
Awesome. And one last question: how does this ensure the privacy and compliance?
Right. So we are, as I mentioned, like we are already using, especially the sensitive data, wherever the sensitive data is there, that is secured through the role-based access, which I have explained as part of the architecture, Manish. And also we take care of the encryption as part of the data ingestion. And one of the major important thing that I want to leverage and highlight here is like we are using Cosmos DB's partitioning. So the access control is enforced at the user level. Additionally, we are using Azure Responsible AI, and we have implemented the human feedback loops that helps ensure responses are accurate and which are unbiased and very compliant with the regulation. So all in all, role-based access and using the Cosmos DB partitioning and encryptions. So these are all making sure that the data privacy and compliance is taken care, Manish.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there are many functionalities we have in Cosmos DB which ensure that your data will stay within your periphery and you'll be able to have full control on the data. In fact, you did mention about the encryption. Yeah. So we have both. We have CMK as well as field level encryption, which can certainly, help for the sensitive PII data. Awesome. So yeah, would you like to go over some the benefits? And I think most importantly, would you like to go over the roadmap of this product?
Yes, Manish. So I can quickly go over the roadmap. Yeah.
Awesome. Please go.
So here we have enabled some of the features, but definitely this is an evolving and this is an ongoing process. We are continuously adapting this framework to the latest technologies, right, or the advancement in the technologies. So there are many things that we have planned and we are going to integrate it soon. So Gen AI Gateway PTU enablement is some of these things are already in our radar. So we have seen certain challenges with the error of 429, and that is where basically we are trying to introduce Gen AI Gateway PTU enablement, right? That would help help to make the solution more scalable, more enterprise ready. We are also thinking to provide the support for the audio video type of data along with the custom responsible AI. We have seen sometimes client asking for for the specific or very custom or business specific guidelines which they wanted to implement or which they wanted the responses to be to be taken care of. Along with that, we are also thinking to implement a document generation the feature which is going to be very core feature of this. The synthetic data generation is something which we have seen has a lot of potential, specifically in terms of the model fine tuning. Right now, maybe we have seen challenges where clients don't have the data, and that is where the synthetic data generation could be very promising thing. And along with that, auto prompt tuning integration of this for with the MCP for the real time analytics, Gen AI ops. These are some of the things that which are in our roadmap, and this is our planning. We are implementing all of those things, and soon you will see some of those things in action. So I think so Manish, that's the roadmap that we are driving, and maybe some of these things you will see in action maybe in the next quarter or so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Super cool. Now we are going to be in the next section, and it's very exciting to see what is hot and happening. In fact, I would like to build upon on the announcements we did last month and last month also. And There was so many things are happening on AI part, and specifically when it comes to combining both the aspects of Cosmos DB. The full text search, hybrid search, weighted search, and the fuzzy search. I think these are not jargons anymore. These are actually Cosmos DB's portfolio, where Cosmos DB is able to provide actual functionality, and you will be able to perform all the activities without you implementing any other search framework. So uh, it is kind of a super cool feature where you will be able to, as soon as you ingest the data, you will be able to perform all of your searches within Cosmos DB. I would like to take you through that, and yeah, I'll be quick. Okay, one second. Okay, one second. I need to share my screen. Give me just one second. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to show you live. So live has a its own charm. So yeah, here you go. So we have this Cosmos DB portal, and I'll just quickly go to Data Explorer, in which I'll show you a collection has multiple data. And what I did is actually I created a chunking. So it's a synthetic data, and that data is right now on blob storage and available for my application. So what I did is actually I chunk the data into multiple. So you can see that these categories are there. So this category is my partition key, so that people, the person who is interacting with the system is able to navigate to a certain category, for example, loans, accounts, credit card, etc. And you understand that, let's say, if you focus on one partition key and then you perform queries, your queries will be far faster. So okay, so I think one thing I just wanted to share, that you can actually use select star statements without any challenge. So your existing knowledge of SQL statements will certainly be helpful here. So if you see here, we have select top 10, and what we are going to do is we can say select any, and if so, I think first of all we'll search and we'll remove this, and we can say repayment, and let's execute this query. One quick second. In the meanwhile, I just wanted to show you that this is working. Give me one second. You'll see the top 10 records. So here you go. So you have these records coming in, and for simplicity, I can just say c dot id and c dot text. So should be there. Awesome. So we have multiple records coming in, and these records have prepayment in their text. We have multiple others thing. For example, let's say if we have full text all meaning that all the keywords has to be there. Only then, for example, let's say this loan offer flexible repayment or processing. Let's focus on this particular piece, and we'll focus on that. We need to have processing, and we have fees, and I'll just say fees, and I'll say all. So what this guy will do is basically search processing or fees, like in any and fees, but in any conjunction. It is not necessary to have in the same sequence. So let's say if I just pick up this one and I'll try to perform the query, I'll have a processing fees. So instead of processing fees, I'll just say, you know what, I have fees processing, because this can certainly be possible, from the customer. So if you don't have this all, you will not be able to, get that data at all. Yeah, no data. But if you add all, you add any, then what it does is basically it will search both the keywords separately and it'll try to see if that data is available. So sorry, I made a mistake. It happens when you are doing the live demonstration. So this is what we are getting. Awesome. So yeah, one quick second. 1 second. Second. Um, okay, and that's that was a demo of NoSQL. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add that on the stage. Second, um, I hope you guys are able to see my screen now. Uh, 1 second. I made a small mistake. Yeah. Probably I'll need few of your minutes. We'll run over by 5 minutes. I hope should be okay. So we are basically having this full text search, and this full text search contains. I was actually explaining that we have the data, and here I can form the query, and this query is actually going to be like this. Let's say I have processing and I'm just searching for this guy. So I'll get the data, and I got top 10 records where we have processing. But let's say if I have processing fees, but user is searching, fees processing. Just a hypothetical example. So if I just say this, and I'll not be able to get any data. Here you go. But if I just add something called all or any, so what it does is basically it will give you the data availability, because it is searching both the keywords, but not in any order. So that's a thing which you can actually take up. And then we have multiple other aspects, which is specifically on BM25 full text search, RRF ranking, and you can try this out and let us know how it works. Just in case you're wondering that how it can be enabled, so you can just go to scale and settings, and just need to make sure that you are enabling the full text search in the features. 1 second, let me just take you through. So you can just go to settings, and you click on features. Under that feature, you need to enable full text search feature, and that's going to help you uh, with full text search. So we have preview features in full text search. By the way, full text search itself is GA, but there are a couple of features like multi-language, fuzzy search. All those are in preview right now. So you can enable these features from this, and you can actually go to Data Explorer, and then I think we are already there. And you can just click on settings. Oh, sorry, in yeah, full text search. Container policy, full text search, add full text, and you specify the path, and you're done. You click on save, and your data is searchable. Once you're done, you can perform these queries very easily. So yeah, so that was a demo of this full text search. So let's come back. We also have made Document DB gone live as an open source project. So MongoDB core because project Document DB is already gone live. It's in Linux Foundation right now, and we have this Document DB.io. It is already adopted by various cloud already. So your MongoDB flavor, which is Document DB, is available across the cloud. So we have already announced this recently. We have Azure managed instance for Apache Cassandra. That's also available. Now, call to action. So we have contact details for Dr. Param and Rana. So you can reach them out. If you want to try out Ariel, this is the marketplace QR code you can scan and you can directly go there. You can get that up and working. Now, the last section, which is Q&A, the questions. So we have a few questions people have already asked us, and uh, if you have questions, please submit right now. I'll be happy to take them up. But let me take two questions which are pre-submitted already, so you can take those two questions. So one question is related to the cost of AI search. So sorry, the cost of search in Cosmos DB, and both vector search and full text search. So what is the cost and how much is the performance? So it is definitely be a feature which you can definitely be able to use. You will get the RU charge, and it is very, very minimal. I think with a few $100, you'll be able to perform few million queries, vector queries on Azure Cosmos DB. If you combine both hybrid and full text search, it is little going to be it's going to be giving you better results, better outcome, and the performance is certainly you will find in millisecond. The cost is also be in control. We ensure that. But just one thing you need to keep in mind, that when you are designing, make sure that you have in your use cases, you try to have a partition key. Just like in my use case, I have the category as partition key. If you have your partition key, you will be able to get the better response time, and you'll be able to have a better cost. I think I wanted to ask this question to Rana as well. Rana, do you wanna share anything on that part? Like, how did you find the cost and the performance of your vector query specifically? You're on mute.
In general, like, yeah, sorry. Generally, like, see, the cost and search, absolutely, like I have explained you earlier also. Just want to add only one point here, like when we're getting into a full text search or a vector search, there is no separate cost for full text search or a vector search, because these two are combined together and then that build via the request units. That's something generally I just want to give that. But apart from that, I have mentioned that in the earlier discussion also, that the way that the Cosmos is helping us to reduce the cost because of the low latency, and then global deployments. In general, I'm just talking about, like, not specific to only one particular piece. So it is completely like we can leverage even on the provision throughput units with auto scaling, so that we can reduce a lot of other costs also, especially the peak loads and all, without over provisioning and all. So that's pretty simple one that I just want to add it here, Manish.
Awesome. In fact, I wanted to show you in the real time. So if you see my screen again, in
Yeah.
this screen, you can see that what I did is, when I'm running this query without any other condition other than the full text search, my query stat says that I'm actually getting charged for 45 RUs. That's also not bad. You can actually have millions in even $100. But if you add you know the partition key, in my case category is the partition key, when I execute the same query, I'll get the same result set, but with significant lower number of RUs, because it has to search to less number of partitions. We have hierarchical partition, so you can actually have level 1, level 2, level 3, or you can have GSI, which is global secondary indexes. So you can have different views of your data if you want to have a different partition key altogether. So all these combinations you can use. to optimize your full text queries, vector search queries very easily. And I'll take just one more question because I think we are running short of time. The question is regards to the security, specifically on data governance side. So how you control the illegitimate access to legitimate access. I think I wanted to just highlight a couple of things that Cosmos DB is enterprise ready database, meaning that we have security baked in. We have CMK supported. We have encryption at rest, encryption at transit. We have customer managed keys, which is CMK, which I just mentioned. That basically giving you control. You can encrypt your PII. Let's say if you have some information which is displayed here and you wanted to control that, you can definitely do that. We support private endpoint. We have a virtual network. So all those security nuts and bolts are already there. Apart from that, we also support locking, meaning that nobody can accidentally drop your database. And another important thing, we support continuous backup, meaning that every second or every point of time is actually we are taking the backup. So if you, by any chance, your data gets corrupted, you have a rollback possibility as well. Anything you want to add, Rana, on that particular piece from the governance and security? Have you added something?
Yeah,
So what?
definitely, Manish. Like, see, uh, in a nutshell, like enterprise care, just as much as about governance, like as performance, right? So that's something that every enterprise is looking at. They're comparing the governance as the performance, right? So Cosmos DB, if you look at the Cosmos DB, it shines here because it is built with, as you rightly said, like compliance and the security at the core. So most of us are relying heavily on this role-based access control and managed identities is that so that the users and the applications only access the data that they are authorized for. So this is critical in sectors like healthcare or even the banking sites where even the metadata access must be tightly controlled, right? So if you look at the encryption side, as you mentioned that at rest and in transit, it is built in. So that is a very good feature of the Cosmos. But beyond that, if you look at the Cosmos DB's ability to log the every query and store audit trials, that gives us a traceability. Look at that, like if a regulator or someone from the internal auditor asks us like, hey, who accessed this particular document and when this document was accessed, so Cosmos DB has the answer, Manish. So that kind of like a governance capability is something that you don't often get that in other databases. I'm not going to name them, but definitely it's a major reason why Cosmos DB is production ready for the enterprises because of this governance and the security, Manish.
Awesome. Okay, I think we have time, but Dr. Param, you want to add something before we close? I think you have on that data governance piece that how you are finding that Ariel is taking up specifically with enterprise customers.
Yes, Manish. So I think that is in fact a very good questions, and in fact, most of our customers, when they talk about specifically the security concerns, right? So data governance, security, this question usually comes up, right? So because sometimes the document that the admin ingest, sometimes the documents are very confidential, very specific, and they are not allowed to be accessible across users, right? Maybe some documents might be for the management, some document might for the company wide users, and that is where this RBAC, right? So role based access control, role based access management, that is very crucial, right? So some of the features are already in, I mean, native to the Cosmos, I mean, right, native to the Cosmos, but enabling RBAC, that is what the client I think demands the most, right? And that is what we have implemented, that is what we have enabled in Ariel as well, and that is what I think gives more security to the data, make sure that data is going to the right data is going to the right users. right? So I think that's a nutshell. I don't want to get into many more things, but that is a nutshell. I think that's a very good point I wanted to highlight. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was really nice interaction with both of you guys, and we'll definitely keep in touch. It was great having you on board. And for our audience, thanks a lot, guys. Next month, we are going to have this session again. So you know how to reach out, and the details we have already shared. Next month we are going to have in end of October, 30th of October we have. Uh, Please, I'll do one thing. I'll share the link here. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop on the chat or sorry comment box, and let us know how you feel about this session. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Manish.
Manish. Thanks for this grateful platform.
Yeah. Thank you.